We've never been here before. We saw the inside. We saw it online. It's beautiful.
We saw the outside first.
We did.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I understand it was like the first library in the county or in New Jersey. Does anybody? Well, we'll have to have that answered by.
We'll say in New Jersey.
Sure, that sounds good to me. I think American libraries are unbelievable. Yes. Unbelievable.
This on here.
What is that?
That's the tuner I used. Oh. Anyhow, my name is Linda.
I'm Karen.
We live in central Pennsylvania, and we're just thrilled to be here, and we're thrilled that you're here too. So what we do is we play fiddles, but we bring other instruments for you to look at while no, I'm just kidding. We're going to play everything, and what we do is play traditional music from many different cultures, and what we're especially interested in is the arrangements. So we're going to start with a piece from Bulgaria, and this is in 7/8 meter. The rhythm, if you want to kind of feel it along as we're playing, it's 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. So could you get a feel for that 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3? And it's folk dancing. Much of what we play is obviously folk music, but a lot of it is dance oriented. So there's a step in Bulgarian folk music that they would use for that.
Well, I think it's only right if Simple Gifts plays Simple Gifts, so we will do that next. Here, yes?
Do you have any Irish step dancing music?
Irish step dancing music, we might get to some.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Simple Gifts. Okay, time for guitar. And this next one will be a medley of 3 tunes. The first is American, the second is Irish, and the third is Scottish.
All right. I always feel like I'm crawling into the cab of a NASCAR racing car with microphones.
Don't take your guitar in
No,
a
I
NASCAR.
wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that, no.
No, I would not.
She loves her Gibson guitar.
So, 3 tunes, Celtic based. a lot of fun because if she hasn't treated me nicely during the day, on that last song, I can take it as fast as I want.
I don't want to see it happen.
So which one do you want to do?
Oh, you can decide. We have an either or on our set list next.
No, that's up to you.
We have a beautiful hymn or Karen's favorite tune, which we haven't practiced, but that's all right.
That's a clue. We're going to go with the hymn. Yeah. Let's do Holy Man. That's
Okay.
nice. So we're going to do an American hymn, and we have a tradition in this country that's called shape note singing. And I'm sure some of you are aware of it, and I know they have some shape note singing around New Jersey and Philadelphia area. And it was a practice in the late 1700s and the early 1800s. You would have itinerant ministers. They'd travel around and they would have these hymnals, and they would teach people how to sing by looking at the shape of the notes. Well, you ended up with also some beautiful melodies that were very folk-based. And to be honest, the poetry in the hymns is just, whoa, it's pretty strong. it's pretty strong. So we're going to be playing a tune called Holy Manna. That is the name of the tune. Some of you, if you attend church or use hymnals, you may recognize this, because it's several different hymns have used this melody. So
We've taken great advantage,
Yes.
great liberties. We start out playing a hymn, and by the end, we're playing a fiddle tune. So apologies if anybody's offended. We're going to play it anyway.
I don't think they used that melody in the movie Cold Mountain, but that's a good example of a movie where they did use traditional shape note singing as part of the soundtrack. Banjos.
They used it at Bryce Canyon.
Oh, yes, they did.
You like to brag about that.
Yes, Bryce Canyon uses it in their welcome center. It's on when you sit down and press the button to watch the video of what you're going to be seeing before you see it. They used a number of our takes on that on that movie soundtrack, and it was really fun. Bryce Canyon is the one with the really spooky looking rocks. They're kind of they're pretty cool. Hoodoos they're called. All right, banjo. Wow. Banjos are wonderful instruments. Wonderful instruments.
Okay, I'm caught on the banjo.
You just learned
There
why
we go.
I don't
All right,
wear
don't
jewelry.
let this go under the bracket. All right.
So the banjo has been traced back to Africa, and in different shapes. They make them in different shapes and different numbers of strings, but the head is usually a skin or a hide. And then, of course, over here, the slaves were actually, or the enslaved people were allowed to play them and make them because they weren't too loud, so they couldn't send signals or messages on the banjo. They couldn't, many of them could not play drums because they could send messages. The banjo fit in very well. There was a style they have of playing in Africa, and that style fell in very well with fiddle rhythms. Well, it was, as far as we were concerned, that was a marriage made in heaven to have fiddles and banjos. And we will be doing one of those later on, but we wanted to do guitar and banjo. And this tune is called Cluck Old Hen. And I think we've all been told to get chickens.
Do you know it? You know that one?
Am I mistaken? Aren't we supposed to now get chickens to have for our own eggs? I think you have to be zoned for that.
Do the chickens charge 50 cents?
Yes, chickens now have an upcharge. But anyway, so this is called Cluck Old Hen, and I like to picture that you're just sitting on the front porch of a nice little cabin out in the woods, and you own chickens, and it's kind of a wet, rainy day, and you see these chickens coming around the corner of the house, and you just look at them and you think, they are the funniest birds I've ever seen. Which they look a little bit like, Groucho Marx when he walks around with his hands behind him and the...
Like they're going to fall on their face.
Next time you see a Groucho Marx movie, think chickens. I'm pretty sure that's where they are. So, here we go. Well, the next one we're going to do is, frankly, it's a pretty long one. And just to be honest, at my age, I'm just not into memorizing words because at this point, I'd probably memorize them and then I would forget them. So this is a poem that my great-great-grandmother wrote. And she took a wagon train out to Oregon in 1851. Her name was Belle Walker Cook. She became the first secretary of the state of Oregon, and she also was the first woman to write a book of poetry and have it published from Oregon. So she went out at age 16, and of course at that age you don't think anything's going to happen to you and everything will be a wonderful adventure, which I'm sure it was. Oh, really would have been fun to go with her, I think. Hopefully I'll meet her up in heaven and we can sing together and stuff. But anyway, well, it's assuming I go to heaven. But anyway, there's a couple of things that come up in the words in this song. One of them is they went out in a cart and six, and that would have been the two-wheeled carts, not the great big Conestoga, which, by the way, is from around the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area, I think, which is it's really surprised me. So they went out in a cart and six, had a lot of trouble with water problems and stuff like that, and rattlesnakes and prickly pears. They also did the thing where you let wagons down on ropes down these huge steep bluffs because you could save like 2 or 3 weeks if you and your oxen were willing to do that. And you probably didn't ask the cattle how they felt about it, but they'd let them down on these big ropes. And the last one that I thought was really interesting was there's a reference to see the elephant, and that was a phrase in the 1800s, and it was frequently a reference to seeing your first battle as a soldier. It was used a lot during the Civil War, and the British also used it, but it's a stone formation in the Cascade Range, which is, of course, the range near Oregon. So you'll hear the line about the noted elephant. Linda is going to play the largest instrument that we travel with. She'll show it to you later, right? It's called a hammered dulcimer, and I have to make sure my glasses stay on too. Boy, there's more things in the cab of this car now.
Right.
So here we go. Crossing the Plains by Belle Walker Cook.
Oh, I start it. I always forget. Okay, here we go.
Did you ever cross the plains where they wear the hickory shirt, where the eyes get used to smoke and the face be grimed with dirt? Did you cross the muddy river more noted than the Styx and begin your journey westward all in a cart and six? Have you traveled through the sand up the famous River Platte, where the bluffs are so romantic but the water tastes so flat? Have you camped out in a hailstorm when the wind was blowing high, upsetting tents and wagons and making children cry? Have you seen vast herds of bison rolling like the mighty Main, or was it but a couple 5 miles across the plain? Did you tread on rattlesnakes and fields of prickly pear till you wished yourself back home again, any place but there? soaked and find your cattle missing? Did you ever get provoked? And while you hunted cattle, did that little muddy creek rise like a second deluge and keep you there a week? Did you see the glorious landscape spread out before your eyes as you climbed the rocky ridges or stood on mountains high? Did your wagons tip up endwise as you rattled down the hill, or did you let them down on ropes in places steeper still? And lastly, though not least, did you cross the Cascade Range and see the noted elephant the world would think so strange? Did you slide down Laurel Hill when the rain was falling fast, and with one yoke of cows did you reach the goal at last? With 1,000 items more, I think it can be doubted you are wiser than before. Though your home's a leaky cabin when the winter rain comes on, no wonder you are well content to live in Oregon. No wonder you are well content to live in Oregon. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's do seminar. Let's do seminar, and then I'll pick this up. So I'll show you this in a little bit after this next one. But it's a hammer dulcimer. And we are gonna play maybe the weirdest thing that we play. It's klezmer music, which is Jewish music from Eastern Europe. And it sounds, it's about the most exotic thing we play. And what makes klezmer sound different is the scales it's based on. So I'll just play you the scale. And this is called Semyon's tune.
Right. I really like this tune. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll tell you about this and then you can play it. Okay, here's what I've been playing. It's called a hammer dulcimer, and I was hitting the strings with 2 of these. So it's sort of like the inside of a piano. If you kind of think about, it's as if you opened up the piano and then you took sticks and you started pounding on the strings. Don't do it to your own piano, do it.
Do it to somebody else.
Do it to somebody else's. Don't do that to a piano. But it's as if you did. It's that kind of instrument, but it's much older than the piano. Piano's about 300 years old, and instruments like a hammer dulcimer originated about 3,000 years ago in Persia.
Yeah.
And there are many different versions with different tunings and, just different variations to them.
All right. Well, we're going to play a Finnish tune, and so when we're done with it, it'll be finished.
We will not be finished.
And yes,
That was so stupid, it was funny.
kind of sums me up, doesn't it? Anyway, it's just this really kind of this cool, muscular Scandinavian tune, and it's we heard it played, and it was like, whoa, we got to do that one. So this is called Strummer Schottish. play the think we're going to take a break after. We're going to do two
Well,
more
two-
things.
two
and,
more.
And the next one is going to be, and I'm sure you've heard it, Ashokan Farewell. It was the theme song for Ken Burns' Civil War series, and it just, everyone fell in love with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're gonna do one more, and then afterwards, don't get up right away, because then I'll explain to you what your part is in this whole thing. Because you're gonna be learning how to play an instrument, and Karen will demonstrate it now. And we're gonna do that right after the intermission. And well, let's go ahead. She'll show you the spoons, and then I'll explain the procedure, and then we'll take a break.
So when I was in college, I got to learn how to play spoons from a well-known Cajun accordion player. And this is Cajun-style spoons. And these are just 2 teaspoons. And you play them different ways, and you turn them into a percussion instrument. So Linda is going to play a fiddle tune, and I am going to play my spoons. This one I learned from the Three Stooges. It was, it was the episode Disorder in the Court. Cheap Trick. Okay, thank you. And I know this is being televised, so you folks at home can do this too. Run into your kitchen and get two teaspoons or soup spoons. All right, I'm going to ask everybody to be quiet and not make sounds while I explain what I am doing. So I said this was Cajun-style spoon playing. People play spoons all over the world, which I think is very interesting, that people are messing around with their silverware everywhere. They play them in the Scandinavian countries, they play them in Turkey, they play them, Ukraine has an incredible heritage of wooden spoon playing. Egypt, it's just like, you know, who would guess? All right, so I'm starting with, these are inexpensive metal spoons, and the reason you want them thin and inexpensive, because once you get pretty good at this, you might want to just really bend the spoons just a little to fit your finger better. Tonight we're going to ask you not to do that, because otherwise we didn't for a while and they came back in very strange shapes. So here's what I'm doing. I am making sure that the backs of the spoons, that is where the sound is coming from, right? Okay? So take your dominant hand, take your first finger, put it in between the handles, about halfway down, and the spoons are back to back, okay? What your finger in between is doing, it's creating a space, so it keeps those spoons apart so they won't make a noise. When you hit something, it will make a noise. So don't do that yet. Everybody put your finger in between. I have it between the first and second knuckle, okay? Hold your arm out in front of you. You want your thumb on the top, finger in between, and then the bottom spoon, okay? So what's your...
There was a request for you to stand up.
Oh, yes, I can do that. Yes, I don't stand for super long periods of time because I have some vertigo. So, here's what it looks like. But take these fingers, the loose ones, and you want to curl them around the bottom of the handles of the spoons and squeeze them into the palm of your hand. So let's go back to where your arm is out in front. Thumb, spoon. Finger in between, spoon. Fingers curled around the bottom of the handles and kind of squeezing them into your hand. So you want a very small space between the backs of those spoons. If you have a great big space like this, you'll get a sound, but you're going to have to hit yourself uncomfortably hard. Take the spoons and push them into your fist a little bit. Same thing if they're touching already, just pull them out a little. And you don't want a space much larger than like fitting a piece of cardboard in there, okay? Now, just take your other hand, tap the bottom spoon. Well, listen to New Jersey. Excellent. So what's happening is the bottom spoon is being pushed into the top spoon, right? Now let's do it in rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And everybody stop. Very good. Now I do have to sit down for the next ones. The next one is going to be called Paint the Board. It's the trickiest one. I've got my feet flat on the floor. My knees are together, and my other hand is down right next to one of my knees. Okay? I'm going to pretend this is a paintbrush, and I have a board across my lap, and I'm just going to pretend I'm painting the board. And I am dragging it from the hand across the two knees, and then going back to my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're getting 3 clicks, okay? 3 different clicks. Now the next one, we forgot to do this one. Hit your knee. That's the basic beat. That's a march. Take the other hand, put it over the top of the spoons, and hit the roof. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Good. 1 and 2 and 3. Excellent. Very good. Okay, now the next one is my favorite. This one's called the cricket. How many of you put cardboard in the spokes of your bicycles when you were little? Raise your hand. All righty. If you had thick enough cardboard, you could really make it sound for like a motorcycle for about maybe half a block, and that's about it. Okay, same idea. I am thinking actually of my fingers as 4 pieces of metal coming out of the end of my arm. Whoa, awesome. You can come get it. That's fine. I'm leaving them very separated, taking the tip of the bottom spoon and just slowly letting it just dribble down the edges. And I'm doing it kind of slowly. The more you're willing to keep those rigid and separated, the better it will sound. Very good. All right, very good. Now, a cheap trick is you can move this hand, or you can move this hand. And for some reason, that just wows some people. Who would guess? All right, now take that and tip it up. We're going to do the Three Stooges move. And you just want to hit the tops of your fingers and your thumb. Good. So let's say you got a gig for about 3 hours in some Irish bar. On St. Patrick's Day, you really want to know this one. All right, very good. And the last one, pretend you have a glass of hot soapy water in one hand. Take your spoons, stick them down in the glass, and swish it around. Back and very good. That's the dramatic roll at the end. Linda is going to play. We are now going to accompany a professional musician on the hammer dulcimer. She's going to play, this is called John Ryan's Polka, and it's a pretty well-known Irish tune. It was played in the movie Titanic until things went bad, and then they didn't play it. They didn't play it anymore. But this is called John Ryan's Polka. We're going to do it twice because the first time we're just going to get used to these moves. Second time I'm going to arrange it on the fly, and I'll call out the moves. Okay, ready? Okay. So start with the basic beat. That was the march beat. Go ahead. Go ahead. 3, 4, 1, 2. You want to make sure you hear the dulcimer. Paint the board slowly. Oh yeah, don't do any extra work. All right, do the cricket. That was this one. In the summer, the cicadas, they love this if it's a year they're out. All right, and the Three Stooges. 2, 3, 4, 1. Excellent. Okay, now pay attention. We're going to start with 2 basic beats. Here's the beginning of the tune again. Twice. Stop. Twice. Stop. Again. 4 slowly. Same thing. Listen to you guys. You're allowed to smile. Paint the board. right, cricket. Cricket to the leg. And get ready to rinse them off. Pretty soon, not yet. Now. Excellent. Now, 10 to 1, your finger's kind of feeling it, yes? Take this hand and just kind of wring that finger. Just rub it and wring it out. Don't worry. No pain, no gain. No permanent damage is being done. All right? So when you find a set of spoons that works really well, just put like tape, rubber bands, or Band-Aids on the edges of the spoons, and it won't hurt. We do sell ones that are already joined. Those you don't put your finger in between it at all. You don't put it in between here or anywhere. You just hold on to the spoons. But you have just learned how to play Cajun-style spoons. And it was the Balfa. It was the Balfa family that I learned how to, yes, yeah.
Okay, so now we would like the spoons to be in resting position.
Oh, yes.
They have different positions. You don't have to put the spoons into sleeping position, but resting position is any position where they aren't touching each other. And we will let you know later when it would be a good time to play them.
Yes, we do have some other tunes.
But for now, we want to bring out like the weird stuff that this thing you've probably been looking at and thinking, what is that? And I bet you've never seen one of these before, because this is the only one of these I've ever seen. So, it is called a psaltery. Psaltery is like the word psalm, spelled silent P, Psaltery. The psaltery that's mentioned in the Bible is a plucked psaltery. This is a bowed psaltery. You play it with like a violin bow. And so it's called a bowed psaltery. Bowed psalteries are usually about half the size and higher pitch. This one's big, so it's lower. It's full. What are you doing?
I sawed it in half.
Its full name is bass bowed psaltery, and it's got 26 strings on it. We just counted them earlier, and all the strings end somewhere along the edge of the triangle. So you move the bow to the note that you want.
All right.
And we're going to play a Welsh lullaby called Suagan. And I'm gonna, maybe I'll use this for the recorder. Okay. And then I'll need to get around you. Well, be able to, you want this out of here?
Yeah, I just move it back farther.
Requires much setup.
Yes, all right.
Okay.
This has legs. Stick it out, yeah. Thank you.
We're going to play the dulcimer. Oh, well, I don't know. That's a good question. We didn't think ahead on this. Let's put this one over here.
And then yeah. Oh, Linda was playing the recorder, and you have 3 different sizes here: small, medium, and large.
What's the large one called?
It's called a really nice recorder.
You don't listen when I talk, do you?
Is it Barron?
Tenor.
Tenor, sorry.
Tenor, alto, soprano.
Yeah. And the tenor she just got recently, it's pear wood, and it's just beautiful. It amazed us.
All right, we didn't think ahead about what would be where, but
Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
we'll put this here. I am going to sing a song. Karen sang a song from her heritage, and I'm going to sing a song from my heritage in the language of my grandparents, which is Yiddish. And my parents both learned Yiddish before they learned English. And one grandmother never learned English. So I was sent to Yiddish school so that I could talk to her. And look what it's done for me. I can sing in Yiddish. So this song is about the Messiah, Mashiach, and the Mashiach will be coming next year. And you have a part. You have a part in this singing in Yiddish. You'll see. When the lyrics get easy, your part's there, and I'll tell you afterwards what you're singing about.
And it's not Yiddish spoons.
Somebody was singing. Was that you singing harmony? You were singing. That was nice. That was really nice to hear that harmony. I wanted to just stay on it. Okay. I liked it. Well, what do you think you were saying? Who speaks Yiddish? Anybody speak Yiddish? Grandparents, yeah. Yai di di, yai di 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 di. What could it mean? It means tra la la. All right, so we need this out of here. Any questions about this one?
Yes, please. Feel free to explain as much as you like.
To explain? All right. Well,
It's Renaissance. It's a Renaissance.
people,
How many centuries we talking?
Oh my. What's the
what 1400s or
1400s, 1500s Renaissance?
Okay.
yeah, 600 years ago,
I don't do
we
numbers.
played things like this.
Me either.
But I don't know if I explained that this side's like the white notes of the piano. This is like the black notes of the piano, and threes and twos. And the question we're always getting asked is, how do you play these strings in the middle? Let me hold it up a little better so you can see. So how do you play these strings in the middle? Like how? I got my finger on a string. I'm going to show you how you play this string. You follow it to where it ends. That string ends here. That's where you play that string. They all end somewhere. When I first saw one, it was an instrument I could play instantly. It's not very hard. But I was confused. I was looking at it like, how do you play this once in the middle?
So you never touch the middle, you're always on the side.
You're always on the edge. And because it's cut at a triangle, each one gets its spot where it's exposed.
Right.
Is it 3 octaves?
This one is 2 octaves. I have one that is 3 octaves. And usually they're 2, usually they're smaller. As I said, and Karen wanted to cut it in half.
Pronounce the name.
I might cut her mandolin in half.
Bowed Sultry. Bowed Sultry.
Thank you.
Bass bowed psaltery.
So there might be some other.
Beautiful. I like the sound.
Is your 3-octave one also considered bass?
No, we didn't bring that one.
But I'm just asking, is that considered bass also?
Oh, the 3-octave one. You know what? It's kind of arbitrary what you call them. It's a big one, so I call it a bass. It's the biggest one I've seen. The builder actually calls this a baritone, but he's wrong. He just built it, but it's the lowest one I've ever seen, so it's a bass. So the other one is kind of in between. It's smaller. I call the other one a baritone, and that one I hold on my lap. And we don't bring everything every time. We have 2 of the real small ones about this size. We sometimes, yes.
Do you play the harp?
No, we do not. Oh, Karen has a harp.
I do, but yeah, it has metal strings, and they're very hard to
We
carry.
have a harp. We don't play it.
You can't play a guitar with long fingernails, and you can't play a metal string harp without long fingernails.
Right. Yeah, right.
What is the origin of this instrument? What is the origin?
European Renaissance.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're renaming instruments, this is a very fancy ukulele. This is a mandolin. And of course, mandolins are Italian in their history. And you'll see some that are very big in the back, like this. That would be more the classical style. This is a little more of the Irish style, actually. There's a bluegrass style that has to do with the sound hole. The bluegrass style has the holes in it similar to a violin or a viola or a bass or cello. I really I like the sound of the round hole mandolin. So we're gonna play Swedish tune. We were in Finland, now we're in Sweden. And this is a schottisch as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Dina.
Okay. So Linda's gonna get her violin. The mandolin is tuned like a violin, so we're gonna kind of like try and occupy the same space at the same time with the two instruments. We wrote this, and we kind of like that exotic rhythm, that 7/8, and we do like those exotic scales, so.
I have a question. When you play the notes on the mandolin and you're used to playing the guitar, when you play the melody on the mandolin, do you get like a little, it's different, right? Do you get like a little messed up here?
I sure can. If I look at my mandolin hand too much, I can start thinking I'm playing guitar.
So it's not really the same, right?
No, it's not at
Because
all.
I see the first note.
This hand does what you do on a violin.
Oh,
This hand does what I do on guitar.
okay, right.
So this is a pick, so that's my rhythm hand. This is my note choice hand, right? So I have to kind of pretend I'm playing my violin down here, and this is like a weird bow. Does that make sense?
Because I see the first dot on a fretboard, it's on the 4th fret instead of the 3rd.
It's on the 5th.
It's on the 5th?
On the 5th, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, so it's minus, it's the same, it's just absent the 3rd.
Right.
Okay.
So this is called Midnight Caravans, and it's just kind of an exotic sounding tune. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Well, we have just a few more left here. We're going to play 2 Irish tunes. It is that time of year. These are well-known fiddle tunes. First one is called The Red-Haired Boy, or Jolly Beggar Man, and the next one is called Mason's Apron. And we just have a really good time with this. The challenge is to try and never play it the same way twice. All right. We've had a good time here tonight.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
This isn't in tune though.
No, it isn't.
I forgot to say to play the spoons on the last one, and you were all, I mean, weren't you sitting there thinking, we should be playing spoons now? Well, no, let's just do Sandy Boys. Here, tune it for me. I'll talk to them about it.
It's in a different tuning.
No, it's in that tuning. You
what's the second
have to retune the banjo for every key you play in, but these two are. This one's in the same tuning. So we will play one that you can play the spoons to, and then after that we'll play one more that isn't so much of a spoons tune. This is nice having this tuning service. I love that last one that we played. It's probably our most recent tune that we do. And Carrie keeps changing what she does. She makes me laugh. There's always something different and creative the way it comes out. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Good one for spoons.
Well, you put yours in my stand, so I put mine on your stand. She almost played my fiddle. How do you like that? She saw the duck legs and said, that's not mine.
All right, everybody get your spoons if you want to. And we're gonna play some old time tunes here. These are mountain melodies. And this is old time, kind of old time fiddle style. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice spoons playing, you guys.
Yeah, you guys were
Look
doing
at them.
very well.
Like an hour ago, you were not spoons players, and now you are.
Yeah, an hour ago you were all straight-laced, and now look at you. So we're going to end with two Romanian tunes, go back to two fiddles. And these are a lot of fun. The Eastern European music is a lot of fun to play. And I like to think of this as the Romanian Orange Blossom Special.
Hey, afterwards, you can put the spoons out there
Yeah.
with the CDs, or you can put them on the edge of the stage here, or put them somewhere that we'll see them.
And thank
we'll collect
you
them
to
up.
everybody. You know, look, they had the do sound for us and lights and video. This has been wonderful. Got a good thing going here, folks.
This is a fantastic venue. You guys support it. It's gorgeous in here. And I love that it's kind of like a living room, you know, that it's
Yeah.
like we like when the audience
We're
is
just kind of hanging out. We're just hanging
Yeah.
out.
All right, one more,
All right.
Romanian.
Romanian tunes. This way. much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, before I get up and run out, let's play another one. We could do your favorite, or you want one for them to play spoons. Bonaparte would be good for them to play spoons. Okay, spoons.
Again, an old-time American tune called Bonaparte Crossing the Rhine.
Thank you so much, you guys. This has
really
really
enjoyed
been
it.
special.
Lovely.
Listen to you guys. Once more. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, and we hope to see you again soon.